The wind howled across the dusty plains, rattling the wooden shutters of the lonely farmhouse. Inside, a young widow sat hunched over her cradle, her fingers trembling as she tried to soothe her newborn. The baby's cries pierced the silence, echoing off the empty walls. She had been alone for months, her husband lost to a sudden fever, and the weight of both grief and responsibility pressed heavily on her shoulders. Just when despair threatened to consume her, a soft knock on the door interrupted the endless wailing. She froze, heart pounding, unsure who would come to a ranch so isolated. When she opened the door, she saw an Apache woman standing there, tall and strong, her presence commanding yet gentle. Her dark eyes held a kindness that seemed almost otherworldly. In her hand, she carried a small pouch and a sense of calm that made the widow's heart skip a beat. "I have milk," the woman said simply, her voice steady and soothing. The widow blinked, stunned, unsure whether to trust a stranger. But desperation outweighed fear. With a hesitant nod, she stepped aside, allowing the woman into the cabin. The Apache woman moved with a grace born of experience, kneeling beside the cradle. She helped feed the baby, her hands gentle, almost magical, as the tiny cries gradually softened into contented coos. The widow watched, tears streaming down her face, overwhelmed by the simple yet profound act of kindness. She introduced herself, and in turn, learned the woman's name. She was called Najoni, which meant, beautiful, and it seemed perfectly fitting for someone who could bring light into such a dark, lonely life. Over the following weeks, Najoni returned often, teaching the widow not only how to care for her child but how to care for herself. She showed her the rhythms of the land, how to read the weather, and how to live in harmony with nature. The widow, once paralyzed by grief, began to regain a sense of purpose. She learned to laugh again, to see beauty in the small miracles of daily life, and to believe in the strength of community and friendship. But the challenges did not end there. The widow struggled with loneliness that no visitor could completely ease. The baby, though thriving, had nights of endless crying that tested her patience and resolve. Some days, she doubted whether she was strong enough to face another sunrise. Yet each time Najoni came, she brought more than milk. She brought hope, resilience, and the courage to keep going. The bond between them grew into something like family, bridging cultures and overcoming the harsh prejudices of the time. One harsh winter, the widow fell gravely ill, leaving the baby vulnerable and alone. Najoni, refusing to leave her friend, nursed her through fever and weakness, never once faltering despite the bitter cold and scarcity of supplies. When the widow finally recovered, she realized that true strength was not in solitude but in allowing others to help carry your burdens. In that small, humble cabin, she found not only survival but profound connection, proof that love and compassion could heal wounds that no medicine could touch. As the seasons changed, the baby grew stronger, and the widow flourished alongside Najoni, learning that family could be chosen, and bonds could transcend blood. Together, they built a life filled with laughter, stories, and hope, a life that honored the memory of the lost husband while embracing the present with courage. The widow understood now that grief was not something to be defeated but something to carry gently, like a lantern illuminating the path forward. Years later, the widow would tell her grown child about the Apache woman who had appeared at the worst moment, bringing milk, comfort, and wisdom. She would tell of how kindness could arrive at the most unexpected hour, how trust and courage could transform lives, and how hope could flourish even in the harshest landscapes. The story became a legacy of resilience and love, a testament to the power of human connection, and a reminder that even in moments of deepest despair, help often comes in forms we never imagined, and sometimes, that help changes everything.